Today, Miyazaki is back on the show to address George Martin's involvement in Elden Ring. Hello my friends and welcome back. If you're new here, consider subscribing to see more videos like this one. Stick around to the end to find out what Miyazaki had to say about this ominous bloke with the coiled weapon. But enough of that Let's jump into the interview. How did this project with George R.R. Martin come to pass? I suppose the start of this collaboration came from the fact that I myself am a huge fan of Mr. Martin's work. I loved A Song of Ice and Fire, as well as the Tough Voyaging series. However, if I had to pick a favorite, I would probably say Fever Dream. I personally see Fever Dream as a masterpiece among vampire fantasy, and had even previously recommended it to all new employees. So initially you reached out to Mr. Martin? Me being such a known fan of Mr. Martin caused our executive business director, Ichi Nakajima, to reach out to him with the expectation that we would get turned down. However, we were given the rare opportunity to talk one-on-one with Mr. Martin, which was an incredibly fun and stimulating experience. It was then I strongly felt that I wanted to work with Mr. Martin. I am still unable to put into words how grateful I am to Mr. Martin for agreeing to our offer. How did you get the project started? The actual collaboration itself began with Mr. Martin ever so politely confirming what sort of themes, ideas, as well as many game-related aspects I had envisioned for the game. This allowed us to have many free and creative conversations regarding the game, in which Mr. Martin later used as a base to write the overarching mythos for the game world itself. This mythos proved to be full of interesting characters and drama, along with a plethora of mystical and mysterious elements as well. It was a wonderful source of stimulus for me and the development staff. Elden Ring's world was constructed using this mythos and stimulus as a base. Even I myself find it hard to contain my excitement from time to time. We hope that everyone else is looking forward to the world we have created. Does Martin's role affect the way lore and storytelling is handled? The player will be able to learn about Martin's mythology through exploration. We are known for letting the player explore the game's lore through fragments of environmental storytelling. And this time around, Martin's story is what you'll be trying to unravel. The period the player actually explores is still connected to the old times. So as you slowly discover why the world has become the way it is, you learn more about Martin's mythology as well. How is your experience of working with Mr. Martin? It was a fascinating collaboration, as we both weren't restricted by each other, yet still influenced each other's work. When we sat down together, it clicked right away. I proposed to make a game together, and he said yes. I was really surprised by how smoothly it all went. Thanks to Martin's lore, Elden Ring's world and characters naturally have a lot more depth and personality. A novelization would mean that all the secrets and mystery that is hidden in our game would be revealed. From a director point of view, I'm not sure that would be the right thing to do. Storytelling in video games, at least the way we do it at From Software, comes with a lot of restrictions for the writer. I didn't think it was a good idea to have Martin write within those restrictions. By having him write about a time the player isn't directly involved in, he is free to unleash his creativity in the way he likes. Furthermore, as From Software, we didn't want to create a more linear and story-driven experience for Elden Ring. Both issues could be solved by having Martin write about the history instead. It really is like a guide for the world's lore, and therefore feels quite different from his novels. As someone that loves to learn about a world setting, it was very exciting to read. What can players expect to see regarding the setting and atmosphere of Elden Ring? Depending on the game's setting, beauty, justice, and strength all have a different nuance. With the Japanese setting, those aspects had to be portrayed in a different way. I always want to create worlds with a beautiful aesthetic, but the approach toward that goal is always different. While for Elden Ring, we're going back to a Western fantasy. The game's themes are very different from our previous works, which means that beauty, justice, and strength will be different once again. That difference has a big impact on our games as a whole. Light looks more beautiful in darkness. When there is something beautiful in the middle of a wasteland, we're able to appreciate it more. One jewel doesn't look like much when you have a pile of them. But if you find one jewel in the midst of mud, it is worth so much more. Is there anything you can tell me about the role that players will take on? There is no fixed main character in Elden Ring. We mostly leave it up to the player to decide the characteristics and personality of the character they create. What can you tell me about the screenshot that was released separate from the trailer? We chose this character because of his eccentric aspects, as well as the way he portrays the darkness that the world and story possess. While Elden Ring may be a classic dark fantasy title, it is more than just that. This character also represents one more theme, in addition to the previously mentioned eccentricity. That theme is the will or ambition of mankind. Okay, one more quick question. Can you briefly talk about difficulty? The importance we place on the joy the player experiences through overcoming challenges will be the same as it is in our other titles. That's it for this week. Tune back in next Sunday evening for another dive into From Software info. Have fun and stay safe, my friends.